Happy birthday, Dad. Everyone in this room loves my dad, and there is no better gift or wish that I could have for him on this day or any other. The gift that I have received as his daughter is knowing my whole life that he is loved and adored, not just by me, but by my brother, my mom, and all of you. And what a gift to a daughter to know that there are so many people there to laugh with him, help him, and walk alongside him in life, preferably with a Coors Light in hand. It really is a gift to a child when it's so evident that your parents love each other. And no one adores my dad quite like my mom. I've come to appreciate that so much more as an adult because everything starts and ends between the two of them. So about 2 years ago, he called me and asked if I wanted my mom's piano, which is something they had gotten together before I was even born. She has played thousands and thousands of hours on that piano, and many of you have been there in the room for it. So at first I was like, is she dead? Because I figured I would have to wait until she keels over at age 112 to get my hands on that piano. But he went on to tell me that she was alive and that he wanted to get her a Steinway, which is something she had always wanted. And so of course the old piano needed a good home. So I said, yes, of course I would love it. And I kept the secret. So the plan was actually quite high risk, primarily because my mom has returned nearly every gift that my dad has ever given her. So I was like, wow, returning a Steinway is going to be really complicated and potentially soul crushing for my dad. I also selfishly needed this to work so I could score that piano. And fortunately, he pulled it off. He surprised her and told her that he wants to hear her play that Steinway for the rest of his life. And with that, he totally nailed another chapter in their love story with that gift. It should be noted that she did indeed contemplate returning the piano, but came to her senses and is now clocking in a good 3 hours a day of practice. So the gift is well loved, just like my dad. Also, if you haven't noticed, my dad's pickup truck has a license plate frame that says my other truck is a Steinway. I am very, very embarrassed by this, and I am grateful that this situation was not in play when I was in middle school. But that old piano is in my house, and it is now well loved by my 3 kids. There is no sound I have heard more consistently in my life than the sounds from that piano. So I love having it. I love the story behind it. And as with any art, it is the story that makes it cherished. Now, my mom is wonderful, but we need to address the real reason he married her, which was to hang out with Tim, John, Phil, Susie, and the Phillips family. Rosanna adored him and helped him land a wife. Hartwell taught him to woodwork, and over the years, my dad clocked hundreds of hours behind the wheel of various Buicks, station wagons, conversion vans, Jeeps, and trucks to get to the family beach trips and to the house on Webster Drive. And happily so, as he is and was generally more popular in the family than his wife. He's my dad, but he's a husband, a granddad, a son, a gardener, a windsurfer, a sailor, a fisherman, a kayaker, a pontoon captain, a beloved boss and colleague, a good neighbor, a woodworker, a builder, and a friend to many people in this room, and some seemingly for 100 years or more. Hey, George. I learned how to be a good friend by watching my parents over the years. Drinking Milwaukee's Best in the early 80s at backyard barbecues, hanging out with the Brammers at the lake, checking out Gary and Mary Pat's latest house. And I even remember an 80s Super Bowl party that Keys and Danny hosted in a snowstorm. It does strike me that the only difference in their social lives in the last 40 years seems to be the slight upgrade from Milwaukee's Best to Coors Light, but otherwise the social itinerary is pretty much the same. In Atlanta and Chicago and New Jersey and in Philly and now back in Roanoke and at the lake, my parents have made lifelong friends in every place they lived. And they've created a home that was warm and inviting. They play good music. They serve good food. They make you feel like family. And I know that's what's happening today. They create joy even in the dead of winter and the frozen tundra up Chicago when we moved. But as the song goes, it's not where you are, but who you're with that really matters. They taught Philip and I how to make friends and also how to be good ones. When Philip got married a few years ago, it was so evident at his wedding. His friends from Chicago, New Jersey, and Roanoke College were all there and just effusive in their love of Philip as their friend. Philip shares that spark that my dad has, where people are just delighted to be his friend. So, cheers to all of you, family and friends, for being with my mom and dad to celebrate his 70th birthday. Thank you for loving them both and for being a part of a life well lived. And cheers to you, Dad, for being my best teacher in life, for loving me, for loving Mom, for loving my children, for helping me learn how to reduce fractions, to decide to go to graduate school, how to navigate work and real estate, and generally how to be an adult. For great taste in music, for sitting on the beach and sharing a Coke, for working so hard and making tough decisions, for your toast at my wedding, for that expensive cab ride from downtown Chicago to Lake Forest Hospital, for being at the hospital for all 3 of my kids, including an extra trip to the emergency room before Alex was born and he was kicking the shit out of my organs from the inside, and you sat and talked to me. Dad, I will always, always be your Courtney Pie. Happy birthday.